Hi, welcome back. I'm Jill with Copycat Crafts, and we're on part 7. I'm going to try to be a little faster and not post such a long video. It does seem that a longer video gets way less views because people don't have that type of time to just sit down and spend on a video. So we're going to kind of not hurry through it, but I'm not gonna hopefully waste too much time. Today we're gonna be working on this last flap. I already did it in my Halloween journal folio, and this will be what we're working on. So wrap that around. That's just a string. This folds down and down, so you can put some stuff in there. And close it back up. Again, I don't, when I do a flip through, I'll probably show more detailed, because some of these things I'm going to switch around, swap around, change out. I'm just showing what. Also, the other thing I added, which I won't be doing today, is I put this little secret journaling spot in there in the back, hidden. But this is what we're going to be working on today. So put that aside. This one has different measurements because they're two different sizes, two different folders. And the other thing I want to quickly go through is I did add holes and put string in. So I wanted to let you know I did that. Also, I put a hole in a string in here, but I pulled that out because I wanted a notch in there. How did I put a notch in there when it's all glued down? Is I use a piece of the cutting board, flexible cutting board that you get at the dollar outlet in a whole sheet. You get 2 sheets for $1, and I buy them up because I usually cut them. When I need them, I cut a piece off. This I needed. I'll save that piece because I'll probably use it a couple more times. But this was like this the last time you've seen this. So I flip it around, easier for me. And I take one of these. Sorry about the glare, but it's plastic and shiny. And I just put it where I knew I wanted to start and stop. I put it there. I have my cutting board underneath. I put it where I want it. I wanted it a shallow one, and I just took my knife and I gently did it, like, 7 times, but very gently, because I didn't want to cut totally through. Cut that off, and as you can see, it does mark. It's not totally through, so I succeeded. It's a win for me, but I did do that. Then I kept that in like this, and I distressed the edges. And there was one other thing I wanted to show you that I did do off video, and that is on this side I used a glassine bag that I bought from Etsy, and I did put the link to that shop and these bags in my last video in the description. But I used that window, was a glassine bag that I had cut. So I wanted another pocket here, and I didn't. It's just getting very bulky because there's a big pocket here, there's a pocket here, a pocket here, and I just put this little pocket here. I put some bits and bobs in there, and I didn't want to keep adding pockets, so I wanted something to slide a larger envelope or piece of paper in. So I used my glassine bag to make a very large pocket. Now, so it goes that whole way, and I used double-sided tape only to tape it in on 3 sides. That's what's holding it down, is double-sided tape. I did put a notch in before I glued it. How I do that with glassine is I take an old scrap, and I've learned that with really flexible stuff, to double side it. Put your scrap on both sides of your glassine or your tracing paper or your whatever kind of flexible paper you can't cut by itself. And I double it and put it on both sides. Then I take my chomp, works beautifully, pull that out, and I have my perfect notch. Great. So I did add that. That way I don't have to put anything in there because you can see the beautiful paper, or can stuff it up. In the meantime, this is the part we're going to be working on. And I want the same fold up, fold down. I will probably make a little bit of an adjustment to it because I'm me, because I'm extra. Anyway, since I started this video before and had to delete it because it just got too long, I don't know what it is about me. I did end up making my pocket. However, I'm going to make a new one. I just wanted to show you I'm not cheating. I did do the pocket, or whatever you want to call it, flip up. And before I even totally finished it, I looked at my time and it was already too long. But I'm going to make another pocket. And then I'll pick which one I want to use. So I'm going to try to do a little less blabbing and a little more crafting. So I'm going to decide how big I want my bottom flip. And I'm going to cut this piece off for now, just so it doesn't keep getting caught on stuff and getting in my way. So, all right. Whoop. So we save all that just in case. Then I'm going to need to figure out if I'm going to have to score to fold it. So how big do I want? And I'm going to have to score up here. So up here I just need a small score. So I'm going to just put that in now so I can decide how much room I have to actually work with. So if I put a small, okay, it may even work out better doing the two bottom and top together, because then no matter what I do, they'll be the same width. So let's mark our width. How big do we want it? How wide, I should say. Let's mark that. We want it nice and wide. I'd rather shoot big now and then have to trim rather than make it too short. Make sure I'm on my pencil mark. Where did I put my pencil mark? Does anybody see my pencil mark? I don't. All right, we're marking the back so I can see my pencil mark. We want it nice and wide again. Right, so I'm going to cut to the inside of that pencil mark. Okay, inside. Again, I'd rather cut a little large and have to trim back than make it too small. Because once it's too small, you ain't adding back on, that's for sure. Okay, so that fits in there. I am going to round the corner there. So if I make it, where's my thing? Oh, okay. I got lots of space. Okay, so if I cut it, and that will come up. And this one I want a deep score mark and fold. I want a deep one because I am going to make this into a little pocket. just so that whatever I put in there doesn't fall out every time we open. So I'm going to say right around that star is where I want to cut. Again, I'm not going to... Okay. I think that's the end of our... Okay, I'm just going to flatten that down well, and this will be what gets glued down. I am going to round that corner, and I'm doing it now with my medium. There we go. Oh, this will be the flap, so I do want to round the bottom as well, or the... But I'm not going to do that corner just because it fits in there, and I may shorten that. I'm not sure. Okay. Now for this one, my pocket, I'm going to put my pocket in right around there. So I'm just bending it right where I think I want my pocket. And then I want to put a little notch in there, and I do mean small, so I'm going to have to get out my tiniest, or one of my tiny circle punches. Yes, that's a tiny one. I think I will find closest to center here. Just because if I do it by eye, it won't even be close. Got glue all over my hands already, my fingers already. Also, the first time I was in here working, my one cat who decided she wanted morning snuggles was out in the hallway just yelping up a storm. And it was very distracting. I don't know why she gets in her moods of when, where, and whatever she wants snuggles. But boy, when she starts, you pretty much got to drop everything and just go give snuggles. Maybe this is where I may have to trim that. Waste a lot of time, because I do feel like I need to, I don't know if I even need to, yeah I do, you know, want to show you the whole process. And if you don't ink, then I understand it's probably frustrating to watch someone ink if you're not an inker. And sorry about that. Feel free to whisk on through, but I'm addicted to inking, so I ink everything, and I usually over ink, so just who I am right now. That can change at any time. Okay. Now, the reason I may have to, I want to round this edge and only that edge. That's why, yes, okay. Only that edge. I'm not going to do the, okay, so that will fit in there. I want it to stay within that. And then this one would come down over it. Now, the only reason I'd have to trim this one a little bit, or yeah, trim this one a little bit, or move the score line up if I want to keep the bottom on there, is to make sure that I can fit in my, I don't know what you would call that, the button, the button. It's not a button, but I'm calling it a button. And you want to make sure it doesn't hang down below, because if it does, it will keep you from opening the flap. So you want it on or just above, like that. So for me, if I just move the score line, I can trim that off and move the score line. That would be perfect. So I'm just going to line this up where I want the bottom to end, and then where I want this new score line to be, right there. Okay, so that will, and it's a little fluid because nothing's glued down, so that's fine. I'd prefer to work, oh, what am I doing? A little fluidly, just because I don't care to measure. All right, so that is my new score line right there. Now my choice is to trim it. Yes, that's my choice. That's it. It's my whole choice, and I will do that. So I'm gonna cut it where I have the score line, where I had the first score line. That's where I'm gonna cut it, if I can. Right there. I don't know if that's gonna hold down while I cut. No, it is not. Okay, scissors it is. All right, well, we may be doing a take 3. All right. There we go. Now we're just going to, and I went around that corner, so might as well do that now. Right. Trying to just be a little quickly. But I will tell you, sometimes the quicker I try to be, the more mistakes I make. I don't know what's up with that, but it happens all the time with cooking and shopping. All right. Now, we just want it to be good and grungy. That's what we're shooting for. Good and grungy. That corner looks a little, just a tad funky to me. And I'm sure it's operator operator issue, but I don't know. All right. Good enough. Good enough. Okay, so if this goes here, and then this goes up here, yep. So in here is where I want my button. Let me see. I'm just going to sort of match it up with the line, and I'm going to, okay, no, I am not, because I don't want to poke a hole through the bottom, so just going to sort of match it up with this line. You will never find me finding the center. Won't happen. It's impossible for me to actually get the center of something by eye. Just, it's impossible. I've given that up. I don't even pretend to be able to do it. Okay, now these were just pieces I punched out of when I was making this piece. I punched these out. I am going to glue them together, and then I'm going to glue them behind that. They do not have to be perfect because they're just there as support. So we're gonna glue one. Gonna glue the other right on top. Mush it good so the glue goes to the edge. Okay, I know other people are like, why didn't you wait? But I like to make my life hard. Okay, now with a project as small as this, if you use your pokey tool like I just did, and you poke through the front and you get to back, there's that little bit of all the paper that poked up through. I don't know if you can see it, but now it is a high spot in there. That's what you want. Because when I put my brad in, I want that little bit of extra paper pushed in there. I think that's perfect. So let's get out our little brads. And again, I would like something on the darker side. Oh. One on the floor for my foot to find. That's how I find everything I drop. Alright, so we put that through. See, that's not even close to center, but that's fine. Okay, that's how it will be. That's what we're looking for. So we don't want to open this and then really mush it. I have a tendency to open them and then mush. We don't want to do that. We definitely want this to spin easily so that our string can ride on underneath that and ride on that little extra. However, we don't want the legs, or whatever you want to call it, to be in the way when we are sticking something. Oh, it won't be. Well, no, we won't have to. I will though. I'm going to cover it. I was just going to say we don't want them in the way, and we don't. So we are going to cover them. Let me close this. And let me clean up my glue until, well, I'm going to use, again, this tape I bought off eBay. I was actually looking for Tim Holtz, the postal ones from Tim Holtz, and I put it in my cart when I found it, and I was just in love with it. But I just refused to pull the trigger. It's pretty expensive, and my funds financially don't always match up with my taste. So I didn't pull the trigger. I waited. And I waited and waited until it was no longer available. And then I was upset with myself. So that's my story. So then I had to go back on and find something, and I found this tape. And I bought the last one. Sorry guys. They may have more there now, but there was only one available, and I decided I wasn't going to wait. It was a little cheaper than Tim Holtz, and I was thankful for that, but not by much. But I do love it. Okay, I'm just going to cut off the excess. And cut off the excess. Okay, well, we will be, that is why I'm not allowed scissors. Okay. Alright, so this will go in like that, and this one will get the string glued to it, which is, I always cut my string long. I'm not worried about cutting off 2 or 3 inches and throwing it away. I'm not worried about that. I'm going to glue it on. Whoop, going to glue it on in the center more or less. So I'm just going to, and I'm going to let the tail hang in there because when I did it backward. No, I didn't. Nope, it goes like that. So you want it to hang down in the front because this is going to come here, and that's how you want to be able to close it. So that's got to come down in the front. In the back, if you feel like you need to, you can tape that down. Guess I hate to use my good tape. Isn't it all good tape? Most of it. Okay, I'm just gonna grab a little piece that I can. Whoop, that wasn't even sticky. I better cut it or I'll never end up with the piece. All right, and I don't want that much. I just want a little bit. And I'm still going to glue it because otherwise I find my washi tape does not fully stick if I don't glue it. Okay. All right. Make sure your washi tape doesn't stick to your. Okay. Fold that in, and then I'm just gonna trim this a little bit. Boom. Just gonna trim this side a little bit. Make sure that's glued. All right, because that is gonna get glued if I use this one. Otherwise, I might use this one. I just want to see which one looks better, and I wanted to make sure I'm not like this. I've already used several times. It is my favorite, but I used it several times, so I want to make sure whatever I put in isn't going to be exactly what I used over here. Or unless you want that look, then yay. But if I put this in here, this matches this over here. So I have that, and I don't mind that. I don't hate that. And then, or I have this one. And I love them both. Decisions, decisions. All right. I think I'll go with this one because it's wider. And I don't mind that it matches that side. Maybe that's bad of me, but okay, so I'm gonna glue this one in where I want it. Is that what I'm doing? I think so. So because I want to be able to use this as a pocket, I'm not gonna glue the whole thing. I'm just gluing the sides. It doesn't have to be a huge pocket. It's just a tiny baby pocket. So I'm gluing the sides, and then I'm gluing along the bottom. Don't want stuff to fall out. Okay. Oop. All right. Then close it and decide where you want it, and that's where it's gonna live. I want it right on that edge of my file folder notch. So that's where it's going to live. There it is. I like that we covered the legs. I like the rustic look of metal, but then this goes like this. Now, this part here you can trim, because if you decided you wanted a piece of paper behind it, you don't need all that. But if you didn't you know, if I glue this down first, I could have put a piece of paper down, and but you do sort of feel the string. It's just I like to wait to cut it till I know what I'm doing, because once, if I cut it and once it's too long, or too short, I mean, there's no fixing short. I don't know because I'm short. Okay, so that will go like that, and then this will get pulled down. But again, I like to leave it long. Any cutoffs can certainly be used in tags for this particular project, as a matter of fact. All right, so before I glue that down, I just want to make sure I really grunge it because it's easier now. Also, if you wanted to, you know, reinforce any of your creases before you glue it down, now's the time to do it. And I really want to make sure I line it up. So I think I'm just going to open it up completely so I can feel like I can really press on it if I need to or want to. All right, make sure you glue around this string well. Okay, just gonna smear some of that out a little bit. And we're gonna lay it down. Right where we want it. Okay, there it is. Now we want to make sure it glues right where that string is for sure. So really press that down. Now you can, if you want, put the same tape right there to finish it off. I don't know if I'm going to do that, but we are running a little, I don't want to. Okay, so now I'm not going to do it tight because I don't want to pull on the glue, but we'll leave a little extra to put a knot in. And if you put a little knot in like this, you can hang something from it or not. Okay. Again, if you know me, you know I can't. My fingers do not work with little stuff. It just, little strings. It's extremely difficult for me. I don't know how I made a loop there. I may have to redo that. But in the meantime, it's what I need to grab. I need a knot to grab or I can't. Whoop. Okay, that's done. Now we need our little pocket over here. And because this one's wider but shorter, I think I'm going to go with, doesn't really matter, does it? It's all cool. I'm just not too sure this one is square. Doesn't look square to me. So do I want it that way or this way? I'm going with this way. So first let's mark, I want a little space there. And I want it to end down here. So that's what we're doing. Can you believe we're almost done with this whole project? This is all we have then is the front cover and the back cover. That is it. Can't believe it. If you followed with me, you are really going to have a cool folio. If you're saving it to, if you do what I do, which is a lot of times I just watch the whole series first, or at least most of the series. Then I decide if it's something that I want to go and do. Okay, it's going to go like that. So how far do I want it? We don't want it. I'm going to round this corner, even though it's going to be a stationary pocket, and I want to cut it right around there. So let's bring this back, line that up. If I need to trim it, so be it. Let me round my corner. It's this corner. Yeah, I think I will trim it. I think I will trim it. Do I want to trim it here and move it down? I think I will. Yes. Just going to trim it a little bit. I would like a little more of the folder to stick out. Sometimes I forget I'm not covering the page. I just want a pocket, and I want a little bit more of the pocket, the folder to stick out. That, yes, I like that better. All right, guess what? That's right. We are inking machines. That's me. All right. There it is. I don't think I'm going to put a notch in it. I'm just going to glue it on. So it's that simple. It doesn't have to be a super duper large pocket, because you could even make it a tuck spot if you want. You could do whatever you want because it's yours, but I wanted a pocket, so. And there you have it. Done. Almost done. I'm going to probably put a piece of matching tape in, and or maybe even one of my large labels. I think something like that might be cute. So there you have it. Probably do that. We didn't decorate anything really, and I normally don't. So there it is. Done and done. Okay, if you try this and you want to show it off, please go to Instagram and tag me. I would love to see what anyone else comes up with, what changes you make, what works for you. And in the meantime, keep crafting. Hugs.